The Fifth Dimension. By J. J. Goldstein. Chapter 7. The Book of Futures. On Difference, Multitude, and Expansion. In the realm of the fifth dimension, one finds no immutable law of nature, but rather a description of human comportment towards this domain of unreality in alternatives, encapsulated in what is termed the law of difference. The law of difference delineates the boundaries of human capacity to apprehend and retain any semblance of reality. For when we apply our minds earnestly, any reality swiftly dissolves or disintegrates. As the Brahmin philosopher expounded, it is consciousness itself that precipitates its dissolution. Echoing the wisdom of the Taoist sage, it is through the act of observation that reality is fragmented. Like a discerning laser, our minds engage in differentiation. Allow me to elucidate the law of difference through a monologue imparted to Monsieur Eis by one of the masters of speech, a super-creator.
Antithesis shall unfailingly come to pass. The ardent lover shall not receive love in reciprocity, the afflicted shall perennially find redemption. Folly shall triumph over the most sagacious, who are already in jubilation. To covet all is to obtain naught, it is bestowed upon those who already possess all and wanted none of it. To betray a notion is to forfeit it. The one who articulates with clarity shall forever elude comprehension. The world comprehends those who shroud themselves in enigma. The paragon of humanity has perpetually dwelled in our basest elements. Those venerated as saints were the least among us. The derided here shall find reverence there. The adulated here have been decreed by the dominion. Beauty beckons misadventure, while ugliness undergoes the costliest improvement. What the so-called luminaries of sense and rationality inscribed harbors the essence of sorcery and manipulation. Authentic erudition seals every aperture. Spurious erudition, and every portal swings ajar. Ignorance yet purloins the preeminent philosopher. To metamorphose the world, one need only proffer the ultimatum, thou shalt not change. To subjugate a populace, one must persuade them of ceaseless evolution to stand still. The finest people are the initial to depart. The malevolent ascend to positions of governance. The most nefarious bestow upon us the utmost felicity. Regrettably, the most resolute champions of liberty are also deemed fascists. We venerate substances, carnality, and violence, yet denounce them until the reckoning day. We disdain forthrightness, rectitude, and decency, yet they are the precepts instilled in every academy. Progeny adhere to precisely what we prohibit, in defiance. Subsequently, politicians dismantle precisely what they had erstwhile vowed, born of disdain. If one yearns to be deceived by their partner, it behooves them to forewarn, deceive me not. He who aspires to dominion over the world utters not a word thereof. To inflict grievous harm upon one's adversaries, silence proves most efficacious. The prodigy is consumed in the early blaze, it is the indolent who sets the world ablaze. The unspoken binds the populace in unity. He who voices it foments war. Every cogitation, every comprehension, every encounter, undergoes inversion into its diametrical antithesis. He who apprehends this is absolved of trepidation in eternally treading the erroneous path. It is the sole path. Those who endeavored to forewarn us have long since vanished, extinguished, or driven into the wilderness. Now, even the masters of speech harbor trepidation for their eons of toil, for they can but steer, actively steer, the annals of humanity by inscribing the precise converse of their somber designs, such that they no longer dictate aught, but are dictated to by their master, their equipoise, their terminus. I am of 10 million years, Monsieur Eis. I am the difference.
In the cosmic theater, the plight of common humanity unfolds amidst an insatiable universe. To be rational is to be accused of sentimentality, while emotional fervor is heralded as the pinnacle of logic. Escape from the reversal of meaning, the transvaluation of all values, the relativity of motion, and the frailty of human endeavor proves elusive. The masses are not destined to breach the formidable barrier of comprehension, yet somehow, a select few among us have. Those who have ascended to the status of creators within our species stand apart from the common human experience to a degree akin to the distinction between humans and animals, perhaps a billionfold more so. An impending challenge arises, for these creators will harbor no compunctions nor mercies in their treatment of the lesser humans left befuddled and disoriented by reason, logic, and dialectics, faculties viewed by the creators as somewhat derogatory and rudimentary, akin to our primal instincts, reflexes, and sensory perceptions. For the creators, be they termed makers, custodians of world governance, or by any monikers prevalent in your domain or field of study, their physical forms are but corporations, not the essence of their being. Their bodies constitute pure matter, incapable of attaining the velocity of light, traversing time's backward flow, or transcending relational bounds. Nevertheless, they possess the capacity for far grander feats. They can create rework and Bitcoin. The selves they inhabit, manifold and artificial, assume roles of played personas, legal entities, names and functions, numerical identities and datasets, myriads of cards, subjects of the state, titles, virtual avatars, authorities, an array of contracts and personnel, the credit, the capital, the verse, the legacy. They comprise fictitious multitudes, ever yearning to propagate more inanities and vanities to intersperse amidst burgeoning multitudes. The fifth dimension remains boundless. The predicament, or perhaps perplexity, posed by the law of difference to the logical and pragmatic individual is that illogic and unreality outperform, and surpass by a wide margin, that bewilderment, upheaval, theatrics, and turmoil yield, distinction, ripe for reaping. Hence, the creators crave more, exponentially more distinction, whether sown in conflict, lunacy, rivalry, or warfare. So foretell the sages of Davos, the World Economic Forum, our paramount creators shall burgeon to unprecedented proportions, aided by our contrivances and mechanisms, infiltrating every market, assuming every format, at all junctures. The creators approach, armed with the full arsenal of their might. A trillion spam communiques, virulent falsities, mind viruses, inoculations. Another quadrillion of data, ventriloquist puppets, automatons, and photons streaming forth from their pulsating citadels alone. The grandest propaganda engine on Earth boasts 40 billion readers, surpassing the count of living souls. For the living have now dwindled to a minority in our realm of creation. Historians have christened this frenzy the post-factual era. No horse need be sought, we conjure forth 80,000 horses. Who requires verity and news by others when one may fabricate facts and disseminate news oneself? Once, a solitary portrayal of any individual sufficed. Today, we are besieged by 120,000 portrayals of Felix, who never breathed, each day throughout his fictitious span of 34 years, none genuine, or rather, an improved, more immaculate verisimilitude, the birth of the omnistar. In the cloud, an octillion instances of the ersatz billionaire and cosmic voyager now abound, wrought by potent digital foundries. No human lensman partook in this endeavor, non-human entities performed this task. The engineers remain unsung heroes. The super-creator hungers for replicas and simulacra near the Tannhauser Gate and on Mars, legends akin to Jesus Christ, yet superior. Synthetic governance, synthetic faith, synthetic man. Various appellations are mooted for this expansion: meta, transcendent; crypto, clandestine; energetic; matrix, combinatorial; quantum, the particles of deity; trans, the hereafter; cyber, the helm. None novel, all derived from classical code, all pointing to what has ever existed, only now accessible to the outer tribe, the fifth dimension. In contemplation of these words, the modus operandi of the super-creators unfurls in its essence. You must resolutely negate their emblems, allegories, directives, counsel, mythos, and spiritual abstractions. Refrain from serving their agenda. Pave your unique path through all of this. You must unequivocally reject their institutions, regimes, non-governmental authorities, diminutive dominions, false sanctuaries, media enterprises, and other contrived crucibles of their reality. Cease to dwell in their constructed verity. Instead, forge of all such entities your own distinct iterations. You must vociferously dissent from their moral frameworks, their stratifications, their caste divisions, their incarnations, their entitlements, their suppression, their oversight, their consumerist ethos, and doctrinal ideologies. Withdraw from their realm of existence. Erect your own realm. You must decline to uphold their annals, their bequests, their chronicles and autobiographies, their heritages, their appellations, their statutes. Abandon the pandering to others' fraudulent enterprises and vanity ventures. Elevate your own community to prominence. You must rebuff all their metrics, prerequisites, accreditations, and schemes engineered to favor their confidence while constraining your ascent. Be not afraid. Refuse to submit like a subservient hound. You possess the agency to pursue what you aspire, to undertake endeavors when your resolve is steadfast. Similarly, you must rebuff their mandates, coercion, and tyranny. They have devised these absurd hierarchies to restrain you, to ostracize you, to thwart your ascent and suppress your spirit. All is a facade. Demand reciprocity and witness the outcome. They would never deign to emulate your disposition. You had been deceived. You must decline acquiescence to both humanity and the natural order. This, perchance, proves the most arduous of endeavors, yet we have surmounted such thresholds. Our forthcoming synthetic vessels shall acquire knowledge with seamless ease. Machines shall retain what we, in our mortal coil, never grasped. Deceased individuals amass followers numbering in the millions. Begin to engender billions more. Your corporeal frame may be solitary, but your virtual domain is legion. You must relinquish their monopolization of technologies, their presses, periodicals, broadcasting frequencies, televised transmissions, the internet, video platforms, social networks, biomechanics, software, applications, and artificial intelligences. They wield these instruments to spawn a myriad of non-human constructs, each endeavoring to distinguish itself from the collective. Abandon the apologia for subjugation. Construct or employ technologies to amplify your and your people's universal presence. You stand not in solitude. You are not retired Roy Batty amid the cosmos of ideas, not as of yet. You are still ensconced in flesh and bone, a vessel through which distinctions emerge into the fifth dimension. Hearken to all who have pontificated on creation, expounded on self-realization, imparted wisdom on unity with the cosmos. Ponder, and thus, you shall become. Your essence aligns with your ruminations. Envision expansively, surpassing the realms of all earthly species, transcending all predecessors. You must start to spread out. Should you falter in any or all of these pursuits, should they have subjugated you and imposed their version of reality upon you, you shall remain naught but a vestige of humanity's bygone era. The age of humanity has expired. And our tenacity in clinging to the tangible, likewise, has met its denouement. End.